Scarlett! That's me, of course. Today I have something really cool to show you. I ordered some new brushes. Now, I have a brush that I have been using a lot recently. I'd say about 50% of all my videos, especially the ones in the beginning back in January, February, March, I use a particular triangle brush. Now, some of you guys were asking, you were saying, hey, where do I get this brush? It's so awesome, it looks so neat, it looks so cool, it does beautiful marks. It does indeed. And I then went online and started looking for it. Now, I could get this brush from my local wholesale art supply store here in Hamburg, Germany, but I couldn't find it anywhere else, and this particular brush that I'm talking about only came as a set. So it came with one as 5 brushes. It was a calligraphy brush, and it was about 30 or so euros for this particular brush. So I finally came across the brush that I have been using, or one very, very similar to it, from Rosemary and Co. And I ordered it. Now let me just cover my address here. Voila! It has finally come. Didn't take very long. There was a little bit of trouble with the post delivery thing. I wasn't here, and then actually I was here, but they said I wasn't here, and they didn't even leave a card. Anyway, it's a big complicated thing. So eventually my husband went and tracked them down and went to the pickup station and brought it back. So now I have the package. You can see here on the back, Rosemary and Co. is where it came from. Right there is their lovely address. And inside this package were 2 brushes. Now I've cut this open, and I've got the first brush here. One of them is soaking, because I realized that this is going to take a while to get the gum arabic out of the brush. So what I want to do while that brush is still soaking is talk about the new brushes. So this brush is actually a triangle. I know it's really, oh, there we go. It's really hard to tell, but it is indeed a triangle brush, and it is pretty awesome. Now, I have taken it out of the package, and here at the bottom of the package it says that the brushes are handmade. Of course they are, and they're of the super highest quality. I've used Rosemary brushes before, which is the only reason why I'm bringing them to you and suggesting them as something that I would like to use and review in the future. At the bottom it says the brushes are handmade, and for the purpose of transport they have put gum arabic into the brush. So if I touch this brush very gently, can you see how it does not move? Not even a little bit. Now I have an entire tutorial on how to care for your brushes. If you go to Brushes 101, you can see all about that. And there I talk about the gum arabic, why there's gum arabic in here, and how to get it out, what to do and what not to do. The things I want to say right now is that I cannot use this brush until I get the gum arabic out of it. I have to put it into water, only as far as the bottom of the ferrule, okay? So the water should be somewhere around here, not here, and do not drop it all the way in or you will crack the tip of the brush, and that will be horrible, especially because these are not cheap, and they are one of those things that you're going to keep for life. It's a pride and an absolute joy to have such a beautiful handmade brush, which is always awesome. So be very, very careful not to crack the tip. I know a lot of you are like, hello, of course we didn't do that. But I'm sure there are a few of you who are watching. In fact, some of my audience is as young as 12 years old. So I do have to say things because I know when I was 12 years old, nobody had told me about the tips of brushes and that they were important not to crack. So if you're a seasoned artist and you're just here to follow along on my journey, I apologize for giving information that may seem beneath your skill level. But because I have paid attention to this and noticed that my students and my viewers, my subscribers are of a large range, I do need to start at the very basics. So back to the tip, be very, very, very careful of the tip of your brush. Like I'm saying, make sure the water only goes just here around the ferrule. Don't get any of your handle wet. Now if you want more detailed information on this, go check out my video on how to take care of your brushes. I talk about how to store them, how to dry them, how to wash them, how to clean them, soap, different things like that. Like, it's really important to take really good care because a brush like this could last an entire lifetime. So let's see here. Is this one done yet? I originally ordered 2 because I love triangle brushes. And oh, it's just starting to bend a little bit. Now, when they originally come, I cannot bend it. It's as hard as rock. Do not force it. Do not crack it. Do not bend it. I don't know if I said that yet, but you will break the tip. You will mess up the brush. Just put it in the water. Give it a little swirl around. When it's nice and wet, set it on a paper towel or on your desk and just let it soak. That's the key. That's the thing to do. Just let it soak. So I've been letting this soak now maybe 8-9 minutes, and every few minutes I'm putting it back in the water and swiveling it around a bit to get that last little bit of gum arabic to come out. And I can tell, yes, it is now finally all nice and soft. So just for good measure, I'm going to wash it one more time. Give it a good swirl there. Then I went to take my paper towel. You can also use any kind of cloth, your favorite kind of cloth. And I just want to make sure that I have no water, no splashes here on the handle and on the ferrule. This is important because if I was to put this into, you know, if I was to set this down somewhere, I don't want the water to start edging its way under the wood or under the ferrule. So I'm going to wet the brush, try to get the last little bits of gum arabic out of there. I'm sure I'm good by now. Clean up my ferrule. And now we're going to turn the camera down to the paper and we will talk about what kind of brushes, what kind of marks we can get with this awesome brush. Okay, so like I said back in the beginning, back in January and February when I was doing my first tutorials on YouTube, I used a different brush, this one here, and you can see already that it is significantly smaller. This one has a longer handle, the end is smaller. I would say this is, if we're going with standard brush sizes, because this one doesn't actually have a brush size, it just says Series 40, and it comes in one size fits all in this case, but I would say this is more like a size 6, and this is like a size 10-ish, so 6 and 10 for example. But the point is, I can't recommend where you can buy this brush, so I am now using it as my mixer brush. This brush, on the other hand, this beautiful triangle brush from Rosemary and Co, I am extremely excited about. So I have a paper. This is just brown drawing paper, and I'm going to use this as a beautiful example of how the brush does, because I don't need to use paint to try out a brush. All I really need is water. See how great that is. Now if I did this on straight white water, you wouldn't be able to see it. But because I'm using a colored paper, it's going to come out darker, and as I talk to you, it's going to evaporate, especially because it's very warm in this room, and so theoretically I can use this paper over and over. Now, something I'm really happy about with this brush is that it's very, very thick. It's got a fat handle, and that means I have better grip. It's easy. It's like if you're using a pen and you have a very thin pen, or you know, if I'm using one of these super tiny brushes, sometimes I feel like I just can't really hold the brush because it's so small. So having a brush that has a good handle, a good size, and a good amount of weight to it, it can be strange initially. It can feel like, wow, that's like heavy and that doesn't make a lot of sense. However, once you get used to it, it's absolutely wonderful. So this brush really lends itself to long lines. It's got this beautiful point. Let's start off with something like a nice straight line. Gorgeous. My battery's going to run out soon. Let's do some flicks. Now, I don't do a lot of landscape, certainly not on YouTube, but something like this would be perfect for that. It would also be a brush that would work really well for calligraphy because you can do beautiful marks, and when you're using the point, you can use that point to your advantage and really master marks that you maybe not be able to do normally. Now, another thing is to put the brush flat. And let's just see what kind of footprint it has. This is also, now in my specific style of art, this may not be the most useful print that I can come up with, but it is something you want to know. So if you're into something more abstract or impressionistic, being able to plop down different shapes with a brush right away. Maybe it looks a little bit like a petal. You want to do something fast. For example, and come in here and put in that what is it called? Let's put in the stem and some little leaves to go with it. And voila, we have something lovely. Okay, so an assignment. Yay, it's assignment time. Okay, so this is going to be our very first assignment. What I would like you guys to do is, if possible, and if you're interested in this brush, and I know there's a lot of interest around this particular brush, it is the Rosemary and Co Triangle Series 40 brush. I highly recommend you guys go and get it. My homework to you is to take your favorite brush and to spend a little bit of time getting to know it. So, doing some straight lines, for example. Learning how to make pointy lines that come to fat lines that go back to pointy lines. And doing this over and over and over. You don't have to use paint, just like I'm doing here. You can get away with just using paper, straight paper, and just go for it. See what you get. This is the best way to learn what your brush can do and practice your brush strokes. Now, it can be any kind of brush stroke you want. It can be the fast ones, it can be the sideways ones, it can be the dry brushes, but I am recommending today that you guys take the time to do long, gentle strokes where you learn how tiny a line you can make with your favorite brush. I'm Scarlett, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Toodaloo!